Independence Day Resurgence trailer recently dropped, and while many of us already knew Will Smith would not be returning for the sequel, many average film fans were left scratching their heads wondering where the former Fresh Prince was. Now, Smith has sat down to discuss the situation with Yahoo to explain his absence, saying the following. I was working on Suicide Squad during that time. Roland and I had talked about it. The trailer looks really cool. I'm going to be sitting around with tears in my eyes when that one comes out. It was terrible when I found out my character died. According to a promotional website for the film, the movie will explain how Smith's character died in an accident in 2007 while testing one of the first hybrid fighters the world had developed from alien technology. John, do you buy Smith's explanation as to why he's not appearing in the film, and do you think the movie will suffer from his absence?
I do buy it, actually. Look, Roland Emmerich himself, the director, said, look, he wants too much money. His demands are too high. I think he wanted his family members to also appear in the film and things like that, and that's something they weren't willing to do. But they kept talking. So I'm reading some people online saying, Will Smith's BSing. It was, I don't think so, because even though Roland Emmerich said before that Will Smith's demands were too high, they kept talking. That leads me to believe they were making progress. So when Suicide Squad then comes along, I think that was probably just then the end of the conversation. I think that was, look, they probably still haven't reached a resolution. I think maybe they were making progress. I'm just speculating here. But because they kept meeting, I tend to believe that Will Smith and the studio were making progress. And maybe if Suicide Squad hadn't come along, maybe eventually they could have made a deal. But Suicide Squad did come along. That's a big opportunity. And it was definite. It was set in stone. Whereas Independence Day 2 was still maybe. We haven't worked it out. So do you turn down Suicide Squad to maybe do Independence Day 2 when it's not even a lock yet, you haven't made a deal? So personally, yeah, I tend to believe Will Smith when he says it was the Suicide Squad thing that put the nail in it. As far as will his absence hurt, I thought yes before the trailer came out. And then I saw the trailer with a couple of audiences, and there was nobody's asking, where's the Will Smith character? Everybody was just really excited about that trailer, which was far better than I thought it was ever had any business being. It's a really quite a good trailer, I think. Not everybody thinks so, and that's fine. But I don't think it'll miss him because I think they're setting it up the right way. But I also do believe Will Smith when he says it was the Suicide Squad thing. Anyway, Mark, what about you?
It's the same conversation we were having right before we went live to air. You guessed it. Tinder. This thing was a Tinder date because it's hard to tell what went down in such a short period of time. Two people showed up somewhere and started talking, which is easy to prove, but it's really hard to prove who left the table first. Was it the studio? Was it Will Smith? Did they go home together? Was there a goodnight kiss? We don't know how far this negotiation got. We just know it didn't end up happening. I tend to believe all the stuff that's going around online that you alluded to, that Will Smith just wanted too much, not just money-wise, but he wanted to put his family in there. Like, it's one thing to hire the biggest actor, one of the biggest actors in the world. It's another thing to have him bring his entire station wagon full of family members and park them in the movie too. It just seemed to be too much. And from the trailer, which I loved, it doesn't appear that we needed him that much. My favorite part about this entire story is the comments of Will Smith, because it's not saying, oh yeah, man, I can't believe they did that to my character. I would have never done that. It's him talking about the character, looking back fondly on a cool period in his life, saying, man, it really sucks that the character died. I'm going to cry when it happens. But he seems to be accepting that he's not an Independence Day, when so many other actors and directors and everybody else you could think of might be wanting to crap on the movie and say, no, I have nothing to do with that. It's kind of cool to, I mean, Will Smith basically said he's going to watch this movie. Sure. And I think that's cool.
I think 5 years ago, I think the Will Smith from 5 years ago, I think this shows a lot of maturity, development, and growth in Will Smith, because he's always been an uber talented actor, but some question marks regarding how he's conducted himself off screen. But I think this shows 5 years ago, Will Smith from 5 years ago would have distanced himself from this. And now I think we're seeing a new Will Smith. I really do.
So you're saying there's two Will Smiths. There's before Earth and after Earth.
Oh!
See you guys later. Peace out.
Cha-cha-ching. Snap, your point on this.
I was going to say, I think Roland Emmerich and Will Smith both swiped left and right. And then they were playing games with each other. They never got to the table. They never got to the date. They never did the first date. No, never got to the first date. It was just a lot of weird emails and missed phone calls. Like, I thought you called me. Like, weird stuff. So we're left with a kind of a triple X2.
You don't look like your picture at all.
Yeah, Vin Diesel got killed. Remember, Vin Diesel was like written
In
off
Triple X,
in
yeah.
Triple X2, and Ice Cube was like, yeah, whatever. And then he got whatevered, and now Vin Diesel's back. It's like, whatever, son. So Will Smith.
I've been whatevered a lot on Tinder.
I think Will Smith might be back in ID Forever Part 8. And it'll just wipe away like, oh, that guy who got killed was actually my clone from the other aliens from some other weird thing.
And now the aliens' grandchildren are
That's
coming
right.
back for revenge.
All of the Jada Pinkett Smith and everyone's going to be in the movie. I don't know. I mean, I actually believe his quote. I think, I think negotiations went on too long. They needed to make this Independence Day sequel to make the 20th anniversary, to make it like, what are we going to come out on the 19th anniversary? That's kind of weird. So to make it actually make sense, they had to be like, yo, we have to do the 20th anniversary. You have to be ready to shoot. They didn't get the negotiations done. He got offered Deadshot. He was like, I want to be in a piece where I'm not the main star, So I think it all worked out great, So I think he's just bummed that he got killed like hey, I'm in some kind of computer screen, like got killed in a plane accident. That's kind of lame. They should have just.
But you're right. Here's the thing. You're right though, because from the pictures they showed on the website, Will Smith's not in this movie. You're not going to see Will Smith die.
Right.
And in movies, if you don't see them die, they ain't really dead. Right. So I think there's a possibility, even though they're going to say he's dead, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a possibility if there is an Independence Day 3, 4, whatever, I think there's a chance you're going to see Will Smith come back.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, Roland Emmerich, come on.
Money talks,
he's bringing it back.
If you see another Independence Day movie, it means that this one did so well that whatever storyline that we believed it enough. So I don't think you're ever going to see Will Smith. You might see Jaden and Jada, but you're not seeing Will in another Independence Day movie.
But what everybody right now is asking was, what were you guys talking about on Tinder? And everybody, so just follow Ashley Mova on Twitter. Follow Ashley Mova on Twitter at Ashley Mova, and maybe she can tell you some of the stuff she was telling us about her Tinder experiences. All right, was that it for the main topics?
Yes. Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.